Well, hello ELA family. When last we left off with our unicorn piece, we had started to compile all kinds of information into a Word document or a Google document, as it were for you. So today we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to really get our outline together and compile some of this information that we have along with maybe doing some what I would call sloppy citing. A lot of you have not yet gotten to the part where you have to do your works cited page, but it's good to just kind of get in the habit of saying where your information came from, because it's also easy to prove that you didn't plagiarize at that point. So we were talking a little bit about the hook, and I remember we had two articles from which we could pull our hook. And one of those articles was, in regards to, actually both of them were in regards to the unicorn from Ringling Brothers. So my first hook, and I'll probably just type that sentence again. You could copy it again, but I like to sometimes type things again and change the wording because that's how I find the right fit. I just experiment around with it. Writing is a little bit like art. Sometimes if you add a little bit of shading here and you add a little bit of shading there, it brings the picture to life. Well, you do the same thing with words. So when we talk about my hook, I could say unicorns have been the subject of fascination. I'll get it, right? Fascination throughout the ages. In the 1980s, Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus, I might have to check that one, claimed to have the only living unicorn in existence. Now maybe I could ask a question, but what makes up a unicorn? So now we can say a unicorn is a legendary or a mythical creature, right? We'll go back to that mythical. Is a mythical creature known for their beauty. Boy, my fingers are having a rough one today. For their beauty, their magical horns, and have been say discussed for now, because I can't think of a better word, and discussed since biblical times. So the sentence that we had up here, unicorns are a mythical creature, they were said to be beautiful, they are mentioned in the Bible, and their horns are what created the main source of mystery throughout the ages. Okay, so here was what was our thesis last week. I've just kind of changed it around a little bit this week. And then I would go ahead and put a transitional sentence, something like, in order to better understand the legend of the unicorn, one must look at it in greater detail. I'll be honest, this is like probably one of the most cliche transitional sentences in the world, but that's what you're supposed to do. You're just starting to write. Don't be afraid to just get that sentence out there. We can always tidy it up later. That's fine. So here we have an intro paragraph, and a lot of that was just put together from what we had up top. Now, we're going to have to start to develop the next paragraphs, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put 2. So this is kind of like my rough outline. And I know that the second paragraph will be the first topic from my thesis. So the second paragraph, the topic will be their beauty. And things I will want to mention in this paragraph. They had white coats, and either white manes or rainbow or gold manes. And again, I'm just kind of going back to a very rough outline to get this information back. Now let's roll back up or get this information down. We know, okay, they had a long flowing mane and a horn in the middle of the forehead. And this is the part about the Bible, so we're going to talk about that in a different paragraph. Their horns were usually said to be gold, but sometimes rainbow. They mostly resembled small horses, but had cloven feet like a goat. And again, that would be information that you found in your research that you did already. So for paragraph 2, I have some rough information there. Let's go to paragraph 3. Paragraph 3, we're going to talk about them being mentioned in the Bible, but let's see. No, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I clicked on the wrong thing. Haha. We're going to talk about their magical horns next. So we'll say their horns, said to be gold or rainbow, which we mentioned in the other paragraph, said to have magical powers, that could purify water, nullify poisons, we could say their horn could also be used for protection. So this is what we will end up discussing in that third paragraph. And then number 4, if we roll up here, this is where we get to rephrase some of our information from the Bible. So certain poetical passages of the Bible refer to a strong and splendid horned creature called re'em. This word translated unicorn or rhinoceros in many versions of the Bible. So of course, thinking about our traditional rhino in Africa is very different than this kind of glossed over magical picture of a unicorn. But you know, sometimes that happened in history. Things kind of get changed. So as a biblical animal, the unicorn was interpreted in the early Christian church. One of the earliest such interpretations appeared in the ancient Greek bestiary. The unicorn is a strong, fierce animal that can only be caught if a virgin maiden is thrown before it. The unicorn leaps into a virgin's lap. She suckles it and leads it to the king palace. Medieval writers liken the unicorn to Christ, who raised up the horn for salvation for mankind and dealt in the womb of the Virgin Mary. Other legends tell of the unicorn's combat with the elephant, whom it finally spears to death with its horn, and of the unicorn's purifying of poisoned water. So we will talk about, in the third paragraph, biblical references. A virgin could capture a unicorn. Comparisons were made to the Virgin Mary. And lastly, the unicorn battles the elephant, and I want to use the word nullifies because that's their exact word. And uses its horn to take away poison from the drinking waters, thusly saving and helping other animals. So those will be the things that we expound upon in paragraph 4. And then last but not least is our conclusion. And our conclusion is a summary of the paper. And after we have written the entire paper, we will be able to better summarize it. So now we have a much more complete outline, okay, sitting right here on our paper. And we've made some really good progress, because remember, all we started with way up here was this thesis statement. That's all we started from. And then as we went through, we did some research, and of course I did a lot of abridged research to get through all this. And now we are all the way to here. So go ahead, think that over. If you're working on your own papers, get that done. And we will see you here sometime next week for a little bit more on our ELA 9 essay.